Hello YouTube, it's yugicourtz with a debt video. Not really a debt video. It's a debt discussion on scraps. Basically, scraps has been around in Yu-Gi-Oh since say last year. I think it was probably March. Got popular back in June. At the time, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Ryan Miles won his regionals down there, the scrap deck. And from then, the scrap deck has been changing. First, they made the scrap deck with a lot of variants. Gravekeeper scraps, Cyber scraps, Raikou scraps, all type of scraps. But basically, scraps have come far from where they've actually been. YCS Providence kept this weekend, and the scrap made it again to the top 32. And we've been seeing it constant. Every YCS, scrap has made it to the top 32, but not in large numbers, only one in each, which kind of makes me wonder, where is scrap headed? We have 6 Sams and those other decks making it in multiple numbers. Why can't scraps do it? Well, basically the scraps is a really, really hard deck to play. And it's also based on luck. A lot of luck and a lot of skill. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Based on a lot of luck and a lot of skill. First, I want to start off by the evolution of scraps. In previous formats, I've been seeing people using Dark Coffins, recently Chain Whirlwind, Scrap Searchers, and even Level Eaters. But these cards have become obsolete in scraps, as far as to my experience. Level Eater is slow. Ryan Miles said it in one of his previous videos. Why Level Eater when you can actually pop another scrap monster and gain a plus? You know? Yeah. Basically, I've played the Decree build. I played in and out of the Decree build, and to me, the Decree build is one of the best builds out there. Why? Stops your opponent's traps, and basically that's what scraps are afraid of. Normally, when you're not running the Decree build, you always go after backfield. When actually, if you don't have to worry about backfield, clear the front row, then you're free to attack. So that the game ends much quicker, you know? I've seen a couple scrap decks with this. I think in Germany, a scrap deck made in the 32, and a guy was side decking 2 of these cards. He wasn't running the Decree build. That's why he was running a heavy trap lineup. I think this is a good side deck in scraps, basically, if you're, because it gives you a plus, and it can be used with your tenders. Also, another good side deck in scraps is Legendary Jujutsu Master. Gives you a lot of opening for synchros like Landois and Barkin. Right now, I can't make beasts. Also, in some builds, Searcher works great with Orthros, but those builds, as far as I've seen, have been quite inconsistent. So basically, if you're gonna build a scrap deck, I suggest you run 2 goblins, 3 that draw, plus your hand, 2 beasts, and 1 Orthros. That's all you need. 5 tuners. Don't need anything else. 2 goblins, 2 beasts, and 1 Orthros. Don't even think about running this guy. This guy sucks. In this Atomic Scrap, God, I don't even know what to think about this card. It sucks in my opinion. Okay. Hard to bring out. the variants that can actually bring it out, they suck. Now this card is good in scraps because you know, it just stops your opponent. Basically, stops the 6-man plays, stop the official DKs, stop monarchs when you fear of, you know. Veiler is a good backup for scraps. Solemn Warning now, you can actually run Solemn Warning in scraps, but if you're gonna run the warnings, I do not think you should run Solemn Judgment, especially if you're making the Grano build. You should make it 2 warnings and a Grano. Because basically, even if you activate one Solemn Warning, that 6,000 Grano is going to be a 3,000. To activate another Grano is going to be a 2,000, depending if your opponent didn't attack you. But 2,000 beater is still a good beater because Grano still gets to suck up a synchro and gain the attack of that synchro. So, remember, you know. Also, compulsory. I've been seeing guys running compulsory. Ryan runs compulsory. To me, compulsory is an okay card in scraps, but the meta that we're currently in, yeah, the meta, compulsory doesn't really cut it. If you're going against 6-star, yeah, you compulsory after it, whatever. But if you top deck a compulsory, you know, Shin is just going to negate that shit. And sometimes when you're going against some random decks, when you compulsory their monsters, they still get to summon it next turn, so it's still gonna, you know, hurt you. So I don't like compulsory. People like it, I don't. Purple warning. Also, a good side deck in scraps is Gozen Match because most of our synchros that we go for are Earth attribute, and most of our monsters are Earth. Now, basically, before I switch over to Grano, I was running the Spies and the Tengus. Some people were wondering why I run Spies and Tengus, why not Cyber Dragon? Well, basically, I was running Spies because Spies are Florida. Flips get out, but not get out the other one, you know? That's, say you're running a 40-card deck. You draw 6 cards. You set your Spy. Spy flips. That's another card out of your deck. That gives you an opportunity to draw another card that you may possibly want. And also, since you're running three scrapyards, gives you an opportunity to go into Dark End or even Arcanite Magician or even Black Rose, whatever you want to go for. Because the opponent attacks it one monster, say it does die, brings out another one. So you still have the opportunity to go on your offensive when you're ready. Also, the Tengus, the combos with the Tengus, they're quite obvious. Summon, Beast, Tune, Tengu, Pop, whatever. But sometimes I think you want to maintain your Tengus because they're only in scraps. You only get to use 3 Tengus. Unlike in other decks where you use Pot and Average where you get to reuse it. In scraps, you don't get to reuse your Tengus, not whatsoever. So be careful how you use your Tengus. Sometimes you gotta, instead of popping your Tengus, you can also pop back row, say a Typhoon. Say you already set up a Typhoon before. Instead of popping your Tengus, you pop the Typhoon. Save more room for your Tengus so you can summon them again next turn, make a starter. So probably even another Strap Dragon, you know? Also, a good card in scraps is Nobleman Extermination. It's practically good in almost every deck nowadays because your opponents are going to set heavy back rows, and if you're running the C build, it's good. So you go after you get their D prisons or their bottomlesses, you know, or the Mirror Force. You don't run Mirror Force with those type of cards in your deck. Or even if you get a Solemn Warning, that's Solemn Warnings, you don't have to worry about Solemn Warnings. You can out-on your opponent, you know? Also, let's see. What else should I talk about? Orthros. Orthros is a really good card. Also, good against Monarchs. Say your opponent drops Light and Darkness Dragon, and you do have Light and darkness is going to negate your chimera when you summon. So you summon chimera, negate, brings down light and darkness dragon. Then you just special summon your Arthur from your hand. Because lighting negates Arthur's self-destruction effect, it gets to stay in the field. You get to sink for a scrap dragon to get rid of that, that light and darkness dragon. Also, Arthur's, it's a good, in case, say you make scrap dragon, it's best that you do use the effect of your Arthur's as quickly as possible, because you want to have that chimera in your hand just in case your opponent gets rid of your scrap dragon. So next turn you can go again and make another scrap dragon. So always utilize your Arthur's. Also, goblins. Goblins are a key card in the deck. They save you a lot of times. Say your opponent sets 3 back rows and summons 1 monster, attacks your goblin. Goblin survives. What do you do next? You go for black rows. Now, another good card that really helps out the deck is Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance helps out the deck a whole lot. Especially when you go after your Black Rose plays or your Scrap Dragon plays or your Chimera. Note, if you summon Chimera, your opponent has Royal Oppression on the field. You summon Chimera. Your opponent asks if you're using priority. You say yes. So he says okay. You ask him, well, what is he negating? The monster that's being special summoned, or is he negating the Chimera? Yes, he opts for the Chimera. And you chain Forbidden Lance. Your monster gets to stay, and he doesn't get to Royal Oppression. He pays his 800, and your Chimera gets to stay, and you still get your 1600. Another thing I